Hey, we are live. Welcome, one and all, to the, the fart show, the Undesirables fart show. Welcome in. Hi, Jane. How's it going?
Hey, Jane.
How are we doing? Yeah, you signed up for this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see a white Fuji.
See, fucking too busy wiping everybody else's to wipe my own. Nobody returns a fucking favour. Fuck's sake. Selfish bastards, a lot of you.
It's okay. I think
Cleaning up everybody else's. Yeah.
She's still currently playing Helldivers, so.
No.
No, you quit? Okay.
Yeah, I quit. I quit when I realised the time.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, sorry we're a little late. I got totally into organizing all my Steam games.
Yep. And I got totally into playing the game for democracy.
Made the Expo pack. Oh, I know. I gotta clean myself up here. I gotta do a little trim off the bottom and shave up the cheeks a little bit, and then we'll be good. Trying to keep the stash.
Give myself a little trim the other day for my birthday. Tidy myself up.
Birthday trim.
A little birthday sprucing up.
Ow.
On my face, I might add. No, just in case anybody's wondering.
I mean,
it could be.
Okay. Talk about undesirable. That information is not desirable to me. Oh, God. Yeah.
But
welcome
why?
in. It's season 6, episode 8.
Look at my sexy body.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Reminds me. Mute the soundboard. Yeah. I know what you're up to. Yep, there it is. So, I've been a busy beaver this week, and I've been working on the overlay, and we're pretty close. Mike, we have a head for you.
Okay.
Wait, Jenny, thank you for the sub. Jenny wants that sweet pizza emote that she designed herself. Maybe this one too. I got a sub to this channel so I can get those emotes.
Fuck's sake.
What? It's just like giving myself money back and forth. Like, I could subscribe to
thank God
my
you said
channel.
that.
Yeah. I'd be spending $5 by subbing to my channel from this channel and vice versa. It's annoying. I don't even know if I have payment details or anything set up, or if it just goes through my channel. Either way. Good afternoon, Warthog. How are we doing? I still don't think it looks like Mike enough yet, but yes, Mike has a head.
Last time I checked, I did anyway.
I could definitely help with that, Jenny, if you need some help. It's pretty close. I think what it is the face that Jenny drew has like nice, perfectly even front lighting.
Right.
No shadows or anything. But
And doesn't have that look of, are you talking to me, or, because I really want to punch you.
and
It's, look on your face.
And it's currently perfectly vertical. We can change that though. Good is smelling of mesquite today. I mean, I like the smell of mesquite.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
Fuck is mesquite.
It's wood.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. You child. Oh my God. What are we going to do with you?
So you've been up to smelling of all that wood then?
Yeah, what have you been up to there, Warthog? I don't think I have really much else to share from what I've been working on. I don't think I updated anyone on that yet. Last time I shared something, it had the lighting, I think. The lighting works and it looks cool. Oh, that was the previous version, but yeah. So far, I have the intro scene, and I have the main scene.
Sup, Eric?
What up, Eric? How we doing? Probably just got home from work. It looks sick. It does look sick.
Sick as tit.
Well, I don't know about all that, but it looks pretty good. And the lighting works. I have like lights that go on, and we have patterns and stuff. I'm working on the fire right now. We have fire effects. Yeah. We have fog. I also am working on a camera pan that goes across, so it like showcases us close up a little bit. Fuck allergies, yeah.
Yep.
And then I have a screen sharing thing as well. So what it does is it zooms in to the video wall behind the drum riser, and the drum riser lowers simultaneously. Oh, it looks so good, dude. It looks super good.
And then cuts to the hub.
And I have the plugin necessary for making all that video background stuff works. Making it work. But I haven't done much of anything for that yet. That's like kind of the next step. Once I get the video wall stuff done and the panning done, then I will, and obviously when Jenny and I finish the characters themselves and animate them, the only thing I have left to do is port everything over to my computer, my streaming computer, and then hook it up to all the Stream Deck stuff that I need to do with the button pushies. But it's almost there. We're probably a couple of weeks out. But yeah, it looks super, super good.
Nice.
So we're a couple of weeks out. That means we're about 2 weeks out. We're about 3 weeks out before it changes to another.
No. Okay, but here's the deal.
So
I'm going over there in May for like the majority of May. So if I can't get it done before I leave, then it's going to have to wait until after I come back. So it's like 2 weeks or 5 weeks out, basically.
Unless you set up a remote desktop.
Well, I'd have to have my
that way
computer
you can
on
still
the whole
access your
time.
files. Upload the project into a G drive.
I could do that. But I'd also
Hey,
like
go
to
Bob's
spend
your
some
Uncle
time
Pie's your
hanging
auntie,
out
but
with
then,
Jenny.
yeah, you don't want to be working while you're away. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Jenny. I'll shut up.
Jenny's like, shut up, G, shut up, G, shut up, G.
You can sheath the dagger now again.
So yeah, essentially, we're very close. We're very close to a finished product, and it's all coming together pretty nicely. I'm actually kind of surprised by that, considering the amount of stuff that's gone into this. We'll be able
See,
to.
Eric knows.
Get back. Is that start over from scratch? No. However, I told Jenny like my idea for what I want to do for my own channel stuff, and yeah, it's kind of not a 180, but like a 90-degree turn. Kind of going back towards my original idea of having 3 separate overlays that are the same exact like dimensions. Everything is the same dimensions and everything, except just a different look, different skin over the top of everything. But yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, my car's outside turning yellow every day in my area right now. Oh, well, yeah, because, the pollen. Brutal.
I'm alright. My car's yellow anyway.
Well, I guess it's camouflage then for the pollen.
Jane, I am intrigued.
Oh,
It's one of my favourite
Eric.
flavours of all time.
It's it black
While you're
currant.
here, Eric, a new.
Shiny.
God damn.
Viking Siak.
It looks like Cloud's sword from Final Fantasy VII.
It's just mini.
Yep.
You know what that would be good for? Chopping up some cheese.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like a good cheese chopper.
Finally found me Leroy as well.
Your what?
My frayed Leroy.
Why does your mic sound like it's under a blanket?
I've no idea. 'Cause it's not.
It's weird. Uno momento.
Fucking hell, he's Batman. He's even got a utility belt.
Shing! Oh
Right,
my
Leroy.
god. That's like looks like the unserrated version of Rambo's knife.
It
Basically.
does, yes. It is.
Good
It's like an
lord.
unserrated
I
Bowie
mean,
knife.
to me, it's more like a unmirror polished version of Croc Dundee.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough.
It's not a knife. This is a knife.
You call that a knife? Butter's toast in one swipe.
Oh, right, okay,
I
Jen. Fair
also
enough.
found
Okay.
a cold steel machine. I also found a cold steel machine that I didn't know I owned.
Jesus, Puddle. For the love
Puddle.
of God.
My God, would you wipe yourself?
What did you eat? There you go. All right. You
That's
need
better.
you need about 10 more, I think. Just in case.
I know we don't have it here, but
Email
that was just cause.
from the place that I have been buying my Damascus blade from.
Mm-hmm.
They're now starting to sell live bladed katanas,
What's that mean?
sharp katanas.
Oh, live
Not
bladed.
usual.
Oh,
Fucking hell. I thought they were illegal in the UK.
They're illegal. They're illegal to carry out of the house, but they're perfectly legal to own.
For display purposes.
The
well,
only time you can go out of the house with any form of sword, be it live bladed or blunt, if you're going to like a reenactment,
Chop down a bamboo
thing,
forest.
taking it to a museum. Why is Mike muffled? I don't know. Why
tap
am I
on your
muffled?
tap on your microphone, Mike. It's your Discord is set to the wrong
Oh.
microphone.
Oh, right. Okay.
So go into voice
Uno
and video
momento.
settings. Yeah, go to the little cog wheel.
Is that better?
Yes.
Oh, there
Holy
he is.
Shit.
Yes.
So much better.
Uh-huh.
Ah. Oh man, it's gonna be great when
Yeah,
we
I
make
can hear
cartoons.
clearly now the wax is gone.
As I was saying, you can own a live sword. You can't take it out of the house unless you're going for a reenactment, taking it to a museum, or an exhibition.
What are you gonna
Or
be
for
reenacting?
religious-
Hang on. Why did they allow sharp blades at reenactments?
You tell me.
Yeah, that's kind
That's
of weird,
bloody stupid. It's asking for trouble.
right?
You know, somebody just gets a little bit too much adrenaline, you know, next thing you know, someone's
Well, to be
lost their
fair,
head.
my parents are 17th century French and Indian War reenactors.
Uh-huh.
That's such a weird statement to say. But yeah, my parents reenact the French and Indian War all over the forts and such of southern, southeastern Canada and northeastern United States. And they take with them, well, not they personally, but their troop takes with them multiple black powder cannons and rifles.
Yep.
And
Oh,
they
yeah,
are
yeah.
fully functional.
Yep.
Like if you put a musket
Yeah,
ball
that's
in
fair
one of them,
enough.
it would go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Obviously, they don't take musket balls. However, a katana, you know, sharp-bladed object.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take down the wrong person, next thing it's seppuku for you. You know?
Unintended seppuku.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you run into Randy Jackson, you got to get the thing autographed. You're not going to not get Randy Jackson's autograph.
Yes, Jenny. Yep.
Sudoku.
Commit Sudoku.
Right.
By the way, anyone that hasn't, go watch Shogun. One of the best fucking things on TV right now.
Oh yeah.
It's just gorgeous to look at, man.
Yep.
Speaking of TV,
Plus, it's all Japanese Bushido. What? Oh,
Speaking-
Fallout. Holy good fuck. Fallout, man. Enough said. Because I'm going to want
You
to
had a
just...
gush. Well, you could do a
Yeah.
spoiler-free thing. You could talk about how
Spoiler free. It is, if you like the games, it is just an absolute Easter egg filled extravaganza.
Now, here's the thing.
Every episode has something, it has at least 3 bits of lore in every episode, but in the first episode, within 3 minutes, there's between 5 to 10 Easter eggs.
So,
And
Mike,
you don't have, but if you don't like the games and you've never played them, you can still watch it. It's great.
do you like the games, Mike?
Oh yeah.
Did you watch the show?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm the only one that likes the games but hasn't watched the show.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm waiting to see if Jenny wants to watch it for our next show kind of night thing. There's only, 8 episodes, but they're, an hour long?
About that, yeah.
This way, if you like, just to kind of try and compare it,
Oh, Jenny's in. Okay, cool.
it's got the same level of the style of violence in it is very similar to classic Evil Dead, but without being cheesy and over the top. It's like realistic looking, but it's got that kind of comedy element at the same time. You know, doesn't always take itself seriously, but when it's
just
serious,
like the
it's
game,
brutal.
because the game itself doesn't always take itself super serious.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, Demo just started up 4, and within a few minutes he was playing a knockoff of Donkey Kong on one of the terminals. Like, that's how the level of seriousness the game takes. Which is great, you know, I love that. And, like, if you, from a surface level, if you don't explore like the game wants you to, then you're not going to notice that. But if you dive in deeper and, like, look through the terminals, you can find some of the hidden jokes and stuff.
Oh, if you read the letters between people, and
Yeah.
you really get an idea of the lore. You know what happened just before fucking the big one hit. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so well done, and you get some explanations to why things are the way they are, without it affecting canon of the games.
Yeah.
But yeah, so faithfully done. Colours are spot on. The colours are just, I swear they've taken swatches from the games and just used that for their colour palette for the whole series. Vaults look perfect. Jumpsuits are perfect. Weapons are perfect. Everything.
See, that's what I like to see, like, faithfulness to the game in the TV adaptation, or, well, whatever you want to call it, show adaptation. Because so many series have been ruined by bad film or TV interpretations. Like, I'll go back to Doom again. Doom, they made a movie and it starred The Rock, and I really feel like it was basically just in the wrong era. Because it was just that weird, like, part of entertainment where we were still wanting, like, action movies and stuff like that, and that's how the direction it took. But if they did it more like, you know what, I need to look up when the movie came out. Doom movie 2005. And
I'm not being funny, but that film would probably have been better if they'd have cast Batista than The Rock.
So, okay, here's the thing, though, right? Doom 3, the game, which was like the dark, horror-like game, came out a year before the movie did, but I guarantee the movie was in production for a year or two before that. So, it's just weird that they took that direction with it. And I don't know if people would like a Doom movie as, like, a horror kind of movie instead of an action kind of movie. Like, Doom 1 and 2 were were basically just an action film game.
Yep.
You were just this super soldier, one-man army, just killing everything in your path. Whereas, like, Doom 3, the horror kind of, like, one was more of a, you're scared and alone on a ship, and you have whatever tools at your disposal, but limited resources. It's not like you're just out there blasting everything. And it's like, if they went a horror direction with Doom, it might have been better. But I just don't think that it really translated properly to film. But yeah, like you said, the casting choices. But at the time, The Rock was huge. He was...
The Rock was the wrong choice for that movie.
He was. Big time.
Carl Urban had potential for the role. Because he's proven that he is a bloody good actor.
Yeah.
But The Rock...
I mean, I'm not being funny, but we all know how much I hate Dolph Lundgren as an actor.
Oh boy.
I would rather have had Dolph Lundgren in that film than The Rock.
Peace.
Did we talk about that on last week's show? We must have.
I don't know. I think we did.
Yeah, we definitely did.
I hate The Rock as an actor.
I don't mind him in a not serious role. I don't think he really has the serious role potential. Which is where... Because I think the Doom movie should have been more like Alien. Like, very eerie and creepy and...
Yeah, it should have been.
Yeah. And it just wasn't.
Ideally... Oh, hot. Oh, hot.
It's really funny because you're a cartoon right now and we can't see what you're doing.
Ah, potatoes.
Hot potato.
Ideally, it should have been Alien meets Hellraiser.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally what the games were, except.
But instead we got Galaxy Quest meets Resident Evil.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the other thing. The Tomb Raider game, Tomb Raider movie, the Resident Evil movies, like none of those really hit like they should have.
No. Tomb Raider was shit. And
that was Angelina Jolie's prime,
films
though.
were even worse.
Yeah.
Even the Alicia Vikander version was shit as well.
But you see, okay, so again, they should have just waited to make the film until after the games kind of like went through a little bit more development, because they're basing the characters on game characters of like
Pyramid Tits.
Yes, the era of like PlayStation 1 and like 486 like processing power graphics, and it's hard to realize.
Madonna's bras.
God damn it. It's hard to realize what they were going for in the game because of the limited graphical capabilities. And it's like, okay, Angelina Jolie was a pretty good choice for the exact variant of Lara Croft in that era. However, if they had waited 5-10 more years before making a film out of a game series, they would have seen where the artists wanted to go with the character and make her more of like a
rounded tits.
Damn it. They turned her like into this like survivalist sort of person instead of like the female Indiana Jones, with pyramid tits.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a little bit more dark and gritty. Like, it's one thing I love what they did with the Last of Us series is, oh dude, it's so good. So fucking good. And like,
I defy anybody to watch that and not shed a tear
didn't watch
at
it,
least
Mike?
once in the show.
I don't think so. I can't remember.
Oh man, you gotta watch it.
Dude, I never even played the games.
Oh.
I never played the games before I watched the series, and you don't have to.
Yeah.
Don't have to have played the games. Don't get me wrong, like Fallout,
Have you
you're
gotten the
going to
game?
want to play the game. If you like gaming, you've got to play the game before you watch a show,
Yeah.
so that you get
I personally
like I said, those Leonardo DiCaprio moments where you jump out of the chair, pointing at the screen, going, "He done it! He said the thing."
See, I did it the opposite way. I'll be honest. However, I liked that point of view because I could see the opposite of that, where I go, "Oh, okay, so this is the part where you're gonna go into this part of, and this is where this guy is gonna betray you, and this, etc." So, like, I like that point of view. I haven't played the second part, The Last of Us Part 2. The game is supposedly coming out, I think, later on this year, I believe.
Supposed to be around about September, as far as I know.
Yeah. And then the show is supposed to be out shortly after? I can't remember. But I can't wait to... if the game comes out before the show, then I'm going to play the game. If the show comes out before the game, I'm going to watch the show. I'm just going to take in the media how it's given to me. I never played the original games, mind you. These games have been out forever.
I've just found out I've got The Last of Us Season 1 on my hard drive. I've just not watched it yet.
Oh, Mike, you got to check that out. Yeah, do
I'll
yourself a
watch
favor.
that tonight.
Pedro Pascal.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Perfect choice, man. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Even Bella Ramsey, perfect for the part.
Has either of you been watching the
Ellie?
Rick and Michonne spin-off for Walking Dead?
Mm-mm.
Not yet, no.
Don't fucking bother.
Oh, okay.
That bad, huh?
It is such lazy fucking writing. It's an insult.
That's too bad. I
I
mean,
mean, obviously, you know what happened to Rick's character,
yes.
right? You know how long
Spoiler alert, people, in case you haven't watched it. But
it's been out for a while now. You know how long his character is supposed to have been missing.
Mm-hmm.
it's at least it's quite a few years.
6 to 9 years.
Yeah.
Michonne finds him at the end of episode 1.
Wow. Well, they just wanted to reintroduce the character.
That was tough.
Yeah.
That's what because the show is driven so much by his character that they didn't think that the spin-off would survive without him.
Yeah, but they've made his character a pussy now.
Well.
Oh, he's a gone old pacifist.
No,
Not that there's anything wrong with pacifism. I am a pacifist. But
he got
it's not
supposedly
what
picked
either.
up by more or less an offshoot of the Commonwealth,
Sure.
right? And then I believe he got sent to Philadelphia. And he was where he'd been with them for X amount of years. He now believes that he can't leave them.
Okay.
So he's effectively got Stockholm syndrome.
See, that's why
And in the beginning, yes, he did try to escape. And then he turned himself into Merle, where he chopped off one of his hands.
Oh.
Okay.
Fucking lazy writing.
Yeah.
I just feel
Sounds
like I don't know, that show fizzled pretty quick, but you know how what they did with The Last of Us, they just made the character very self-centered, and it's like Pedro Pascal's character was just, he didn't care about anything else except that girl after a while. At first it was a job, and then it turned into like the one thing he had to do.
Attached at parenthood.
Yeah. And it's like it makes sense. Whereas like Rick wants to like save the world basically, or like, everyone love everyone type of thing. It's like I don't know. That whole show for me fizzled out after season 4.
The one spin-off of The Walking Dead that I'm glad they've greenlit for a second season is the one for Daryl's character.
Right.
Is it still
That
Norman
first-
Reedus?
Yeah,
Okay.
his season was actually very good.
Fair enough. Shit's week. But yeah.
What's it called? Is it Daryl Dixon, the Book of Carol, or something like that?
One sec, let me have a look on the hard drive, I'll tell you.
Just, I feel like, I don't know, in general, people are getting better at writing shows and movies about video games. Not that Walking Dead was a video game before, it was a video game after. And a lot of people say that even the game kind of sucks now. Like, it started off as a really good game, and then now it is kind of shitty. So,
Oh,
that's
the
unfortunate.
Telltale series.
Is it Walking Dead World Beyond? No. That's
No.
the one that's about the fucking Commonwealth.
I think so.
Whoa!
To Google it to see what it's called. But I don't think I've got that one on the hard drive after all.
What else is there? Hold on. There was a postal movie.
There's
Anyone ever?
TP for Puddle's Butthole.
His TP for Puddle's bunghole. Did anyone watch? Or did anyone play Postal growing up? No.
Nope.
No. Damn, man. Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, okay, so the
Sorry, Nick. It's just called Daryl Dixon.
okay.
Alright, okay.
And Carol's rejoining it for season 2.
Jesus.
See, I was a gamer right from as young as I can remember. Right up until around the time that California Games came out. Stopped playing for a while.
Mm.
Then went back to it when the first of the kind of proper consoles started coming out, like Mega Drive,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So I missed a lot of games.
Well, what was I gonna say? Postal.
Postal.
Oh yeah. The director directed a whole bunch of different adaptations of video games, and like most of them are pretty crap. They're like B to C tier. I'd say at least C tier, really. Sometimes they will star like decent actors, but the writing and direction is crap. But it's kind of funny in the way that like it doesn't take it so seriously, which is
Yeah.
it's almost like a piss take, but like it's like, you know, okay, Far Cry got a movie adaptation.
Yep.
Trying to look up the director here.
And that was
Uwe Boll. Uwe Boll is
Same director as Iron Sky.
yeah. Like he directed a whole bunch of films.
Nazis on the Moon,
Yeah, like
in other
and
words.
they're all equally ridiculous, but kind of in the best way possible, I think. But like this Far Cry series stars Till Schweiger. I don't know if that's a correct pronunciation, but like, you know him from other movies, and you know he's a good actor and everything. But it's like this Uwe Boll has a lot of money to throw around from I don't know, I guess dodgy financiers, I suppose, but but
Probably that sequel. Oh,
yeah, I don't know, dude. Yeah, I don't know. But like, he's been criticized about it before. But he's been known also to like be very harsh against criticism, and like doesn't take any shit from anybody. He's like, well, if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. And it's like, okay.
fair enough.
But, you know, there's a shitload of video game movies like Silent Hill, and let's put it this way, I was so excited about a Silent Hill movie. I'm like, oh my god, Silent Hill is one of my favorite game series growing up as a kid. And they fucked up those movies big time, though.
It wasn't
awful. Let's face it, it wasn't awful, but it wasn't great.
It wasn't awful. They completely changed the plot, though, because in the game, it was her dad going to search for, like, his daughter. And in the movie, it was the mom. And it's like, why would you change that? I don't understand.
I think there's a TV series that's supposedly in the works of that as well.
I mean, that's fair.
And remember I was saying there's supposedly a third Tron movie coming out called Tron Ares?
Yes.
But I was saying, not too sure if this is 100%. Well, I've seen it get reported on other websites, so it looks as if it is actually happening.
Now the question is,
all I know is Gillian Anderson's going to be in it, so gets a thumbs up.
So you're a big Tron fan, though, and if they do it wrong, you're going to be pissed.
Tron Legacy, fucking awesome.
Yeah,
exactly, and it flopped. And I don't know why, because it was fucking had all the ingredients.
I think we're finally hitting the level of like, okay, people are getting it. People are getting what they need to do to make a movie adaptation successful. I hope. Or a video game adaptation.
Star Wars fans to like the stuff then, please.
Another example is the RoboCop game, Rogue City, that came out not too long ago.
Bit linear, but it's good fun.
Yeah, G and I both played it all the way through. And Mike, did you play it?
I have played it, yeah.
Okay. So
I haven't completed it yet.
So yeah, you're very correct in saying it's very linear, but like, I think they did pretty good because it wasn't set based on an exact movie. It was in between the timeline of 2 and 3.
2 and 3, yep.
They added plenty of little Easter eggs into the game. It was a bit tongue in cheek in the humor with it and stuff like that. Yep. And it's very reminiscent of the original film. As far as like the level of action and the bad guys in it and everything are like, you know, way over the top. Like, yeah, we're punks. You know, like we just do drugs all the time and we're bad dudes. We commit crimes. And it's like,
you don't talk like that.
Yeah, we talk like this in really cartoony voices. It's just so cheesy, but it's so good. I don't know if they didn't have any of the rights to the original films or what happened, but like, man, I wish they included a bit more of like the live action video or something in the game.
I think they blew their wad getting Peter Weller.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
so
it was worth it.
Kind of fell by the wayside for the sake of his salary. It totally was worth it. It was the right decision.
Mm-hmm. But man, if you could have the original like commercials and stuff from on the TVs and
yeah,
but you got to remember
the Verhoeven touch for sure.
It's a small budget game. It was a much lower budget game. It's not a AAA title.
Yeah.
You know, and like
that's what I was going to say. It was the right decision getting Peter Weller because he forgave the rest of the game's shortcomings because you had the voice there.
Yeah. And it's his likeness too. They didn't have to change the actual character model.
Yep. And for such a low budget linear game, it was actually satisfying to play.
Oh yeah, the gunplay in it was a lot of fun. I love the fact that you can upgrade your Auto 9 to be able to play throughout the entire game.
Yep.
You never had to really change weapons.
I never once changed weapon. I never once changed weapon.
Oh, you
didn't need to. Yeah, there's no point because 1 or 2 bursts of the Auto 9 will take care of an enemy. And then not only that, you had the environmental stuff as well. So it's like, I like the atmosphere of it. It could have been like if this got more funding and a much bigger budget and a lot more time into it, they could have like made the open world way bigger, and they could have done way more with it.
Needed more alternative endings.
Yeah,
based on decisions made throughout the game, and it still needs an expansion pack.
Yeah,
I
think
be
it
honest,
needs
I think it'll get
multiplayer.
one eventually.
I feel like it should be multiplayer.
And a multiplayer mode.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but we're not.
Yep.
I
Both
don't
said
think
at
we're
the
gonna
same
get
time.
it.
Yep.
I
I
think.
mean,
Go on.
another one I enjoyed was the Terminator game.
I never played it.
Me either.
Really, Terminator game. I'm gonna have to look into that. I went on a buying spree today of games that are very like sort of retro future aesthetic and that kind of thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, what do we have? But that one didn't even think to look into. I knew there was Terminator games, I just never played them. I think I've seen reviews for them on a couple of the channels that I like watching on YouTube.
See, I don't look at reviews for games.
I do most of the time.
I don't look at reviews for films.
So I watched the review. All right, go on. Sorry.
I was going to say, I know what type of game I like.
Yeah, that's fair. I just want to know if it plays well.
I'll find that out if I play it.
I guess. Well, it's
That's
a little
the way
bit
I am
different.
with movies as well, Mike.
Huh?
That's the way I am with movies as well.
Yeah, I don't
I mean, there's
like
been
other people's
Fuck the
opinions.
critics, they don't know what I like.
I don't want other people's opinions influencing my buying decision. I just want to know if
Exactly.
the gameplay is going to be what I want out of a game.
Yeah, it needs. You need to know certain things are there, obviously. Yeah.
And some of the people that are reviewing the games, at least, are highly qualified, in my opinion, because of what else they review and how they review them versus my own opinions on them. So it's not like I'm going into a game going, okay, well, does he like the story? No, I mean, I don't care if he likes the story or not. I want to know if it runs well, if it has an interesting gameplay loop, and whether or not I think I'm going to enjoy it. So that's what I did with Rogue City. I was like, okay, I don't know. Wow, brain fart. RoboCop. I don't know the RoboCop franchise like you guys know the RoboCop franchise. Like, I grew up and I
franchise,
saw
as far as I'm concerned, is just the first two movies.
Yeah,
with the possibility of elements of the third one.
Right, but
elements of the third movie were really good, but
that's a lot like our other favorite titles like Alien. Like, there's obviously Aliens 1 and 2 were really good films, and then it started falling off after that. And like then Alien versus Predator, you kind of have mixed opinions on that as well. But it's sort of the thing of like, am I going to enjoy playing this from my limited knowledge on the genre? And I saw the gameplay. I'm like, okay, it looks pretty fun. And they said it runs great and everything. Needs a little bit more. It needs more content.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but it's not a full price game. It was like what, $30 or something. So I was okay with that. And that was based on a known IP. And then when I saw his same review, the guy that I watch, G-Man, it's G-Man Lives on YouTube. When I saw his review on that game Rocky City, and he was like, well, it's got a lot of actors and people and famous people in it for voice acting. The gameplay loop is a bit like confusing, and they have multiplayer, but it's not much of a multiplayer because no one plays it. And it's just kind of gets to be a little bit repetitive. And I think RoboCop is sort of repetitive, but at the same time it keeps driving the story forward, and you get different locations and stuff that you have to fight through and things like that. And just the bit of like the tongue-in-cheek kind of thing I just love that style of humor and based on an actual IP, whereas Rocky City was like just a game that just kind of popped up out of nowhere on Epic Games. And like, again, it wasn't a full price game. It wasn't a AAA. It wasn't a big studio or anything. But, you know, I just would, if given the choice between two games that have very similar styles to them, I'm going to go for the one that with a known IP that I've seen before, rather than the kind of random one that just kind of popped up with a bunch of, you know, 80s and 90s stars. They had Vanilla Ice in that game.
Oh.
Yeah. Michael Madsen, Vanilla Ice, bunch of random people in it in that one. And I'm like, okay, I get the actors and all, but again, it was a thing of they blew their budget on the hiring the voice actors, and it didn't seem like the voice actors really gave two shits about the game itself. They just were just reading the lines off the script.
Yeah.
And they also definitely recorded all of their voice lines separately, not in like the same room at the same time. So there's really no inflection in their voice to like kind of really tell that they're having a conversation. It's just two people just talking, you know?
Yeah, there's no real kind of chemistry or anything going on.
Right. So I'm like, I guess I'll just give that one a miss. But it's unfortunate because it could have been a good game. If they made the gameplay loop more interesting, I might be more interested in it. But again, it's the same thing as RoboCop, where it's a pretty linear kind of shooter mission thing where you got to do heists and shit. And then, you know, there's this certain way you get out. It's basically Payday, but with a bunch of random celebrities involved, I guess. But you go after the IP that you know, I think.
Yep. See, my problem with watching game reviewers is they review it from the prospect, or from the person. What's the word?
Perspective.
That's the one. Of a hardcore gamer.
Yeah.
I'm not a hardcore gamer.
It depends
I
on.
play a game to enjoy myself. I don't give two shits about going out and getting fucking platinum bloody trophies and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see the game reviewers that I watch tend to review a lot of like older titles, and you can tell they've been around in gaming for a long time. And like one of the guys that I watch is Civ 11, and his whole shtick with his channel is that he is being forced to play games. Like it's a character that he's playing for his channel, where he's being force-fed these games and forced to review them. And it's just kind of funny that the ongoing jokes in them, like, because there's a trope with older video games where there's sewer levels. Every old game has a sewer level, so he has a counter on the screen that pops up every time they enter a sewer level, and it just keeps ticking up more and more. And he tried to kill off the meme, but it just his channel, his followers just wouldn't let it die. But I find that way of reviewing, he's an aggressive kind of person where he like can be a harsh critic, but at the same time, I appreciate the honesty level of the review, and I really feel like he's being genuine about. And like sometimes he does break character and is like, "Look, guys, I do this for a living. It's a character, and like there's just a million games that are coming out, and everyone's telling me to play them, and blah blah blah." Like I might be harsh to this one, but it's actually a really good game. So enjoy the rest of the video, and then it just carries on. I don't know. I just find that to be a very genuine personality trait.
Yeah.
But like, I agree with you, Mike. I don't want a review of like someone that's like hardcore. Like I'm gonna get all the achievements and I'm gonna 100% it and this and that. I find games that you can replay over and over and over again the best types of games.
Yeah.
That's why I think I like Helldivers.
Well, one of the things that really annoys me is, like you just mentioned it right there, all these achievements, right? To get, you've got the trophies, gold, silver, bronze, blah blah blah, and then the developers turn around and say, now we're going to release this expansion pack, and you need this expansion pack to be able to get 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
We're resetting that. We're resetting that progression level. You're no longer 100%. If you want the full 100% in the platinum trophy, you need to get the expansion.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
That's what just ruined fucking games for me. Like, no more full games when you buy them.
Well,
But
it's been
they're
like
rare,
that for
they're
the
rare
longest
these
time.
days.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're rare now. But I mean, the one I keep getting back to, I think it was one of the last decent full games, is the first Battlefield.
Yeah. Well, it's because you just recently kind of rediscovered them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I remember playing it on console when it first came out and thinking, this is incredible.
Yep.
And even the game, it looked gorgeous. The sound was beautiful. But the gameplay was there, and the voice, like you said, the voice acting's a big part of a game as well.
Oh yeah.
That's why the likes of The Last of Us was so well taken, because the voice acting was well done. It was believable,
It was believable, and it was
all those things combined, like just make a full game.
But they didn't have to hire the voice actor from the game, as long as he had the same sort of tone and desperation in his voice, like makes it believable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
Yeah, you don't need a big name. Don't need a big name.
Well, I mean, they hired.
Obviously, they
Pascal.
needed the big name for the. They need a big name for the TV series. Otherwise, nobody's going to want to watch it because, let's face it, it's about a video game.
The other thing about
so if
games,
they want anybody other than gamers to watch it, you need the big name actor to draw them in.
The thing about video games is that there are like a handful of voice actors that do the voices for so many of your childhood favorite games. Look at John St. John. Good Lord.
Nolan North.
Yep. Just super recognizable.
The guy that plays Sully in Uncharted. He's also the same pretty much the same character in Just Cause.
So that's the thing, is like, if you hired, let's say you made a movie or show adaptation of any of those games, you'd be hiring the same people over and over again, and people don't want to see that. People want to see different faces involved with their stories.
Yeah.
But like I said, as long as it matches the same kind of like tonal inflections and all that stuff, people are going to be interested. But like, I don't know, the old school games, going back to them after years, it's just different. Because I love my retro shooters. But I feel like you remember them differently when you were a kid in that time, or a young adult in that time. Growing up with those games, playing them on consoles, you play something like Modern Warfare, COD 4 on a PC nowadays, and you're like, oh, what the heck is this? This looks terrible. But at the time, it looked amazing. Something you played on a CRT display or television.
That's the thing, but even the remakes have so much more going on now, because I played the originals, like the originals, and they were so bare. It was literally like, if it was scaled up, the maps would only be about 50 feet wide.
Yeah.
Maybe the size of a football pitch if you were lucky.
But look at the hardware restrictions of the time, right? Like with the Doom engine, you couldn't have a room over the top of another room. If you wanted to do that, basically what it would be is an invisible teleporter that would teleport you to a different part, and it would look like it's underneath another part, but it wasn't.
Do you remember when Soul Reaver first came out?
God, that was... How old?
The Soul Reaver was the very first game that actually used that same principle, but in a proper 3D environment, where there was no loading. between different areas of the map, but you
Mhm.
physically went through a door, and it looked like like the map loaded in front of you as if it was fading into existence. Really clever, but
It's like the whole thing with draw distance back in the PlayStation 1 era, where you had very limited draw distance and there was that haze in front of you. And then you get that same game on PC years later, and like you can have unlimited draw distance. It just doesn't look right. It
Yeah.
doesn't look right without the fog. I think one of the first games that pulled it off, though, was GTA 5. With like the unlimited draw distance thing and like how stuff pops into the world.
Fallout
Because
3 and 4 as
yeah,
well.
yeah, but you never
Because I remember, especially Fallout 4, because I remember when you first came out the Fallout 4, and you're standing at the top of the hill,
You
you're
can see
across
everything.
the desert, and you're like, holy shit. So I remember my friend telling me, he says, see that pylon way in the horizon over there? I'm like, yeah. He says, you can actually physically go there. And I was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Seriously, you can walk there
Mm-hmm.
and there's no loading.
Yep.
I was like, okay, how's this possible?
It's just wild how they pull it off because they restrict you in ways that are very creative from being able to see too far. And when you do see a very far distance, it's like representations of what's there, but at low poly. And then as you get closer, it just kind of morphs into the high poly version of whatever you're looking at. But
Which is the exact same principle that physicists are now thinking our universe is made up.
it's terrifying.
Apparently, the fundamental building blocks of all existence, according to some physicists, are very similar to game code in the sense of you have various models that already exist, but they exist in limbo, ready to be summoned for when they're actually needed.
Whoa.
Ties into the whole Schrodinger's cat thing. And
Well, think about it like this, right? When you're a baby, you don't have object permanence. You don't have that part of your brain isn't developed yet. So you think that when you turn around, your parents are gone.
yeah,
You know, until you turn back around
that's
to
the
see them
limit
right there.
of your perception. Yeah,
Right.
that is the limit of your perception, therefore the limit of your own universe. Yeah.
So I feel like that's where we're at right now is like we, as a collective human race, are like infants that can't see beyond what our spectrum is, right? We have almost like blinders on to our own version of perception. And then...
Well, this is something you'll probably agree with, Mike. This is why, like, a lot of the paranormal researchers are saying this is why you sometimes see cats and dogs freaking out looking in certain parts of a room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like intently as if something's there.
Yep.
Freaking it out. You know, like the dog will suddenly start growling for no apparent reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they see.
They see and hear things way beyond our range.
Spectrum of light. Yep.
Right.
They can perceive things that we can't because it's not in our spectrum of light.
Or they'll stand
Just
there.
physically don't perceive it.
Yeah. Or they'll stand there growling and snarling at the corner of the room.
Yep.
That's creepy. Whenever a dog does that, I'm like, oh god. Whenever I have Lady, the roommate's dog, in here, and she like perks up for no reason, I'm like, what was that? Oh god.
Yeah.
You're freaked out.
It's not. So it's like that's where the whole holographic universe theory comes in. Is that it's similar to a computer game, a modern computer game. Sense of map is already there, but it's not necessarily open to the character. Once a character goes beyond a certain point, the map will start getting loaded in for that person. that playable
weird.
Character, you know, like that's how the universe works per person.
Kind of just brings up
If
the
you have
question.
two people perceiving the same space, you get a wider range of that space available to them. Yada yada yada.
So if we
You know,
use
so-
no clip, Can we break the game and exit our own perception? That's the big question.
What if the world sun in 360 scope? What would happen?
Boom, headshot. Well, you ever no clip out of a game and you see like that, like it's like all fuzzy because it's like the wall just repeated a million times and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's like the Matrix right there.
Yeah.
That's breaking the game. Just feel
But
like
if you wanna read more into that kind of stuff, about the holographic universe and theoretical physics and all that, I've said about it before. I'm hoping that somebody actually reads it because it's mind blowing. The book is called Biocentrism: The Key to Understanding Life and Consciousness, I think.
You'll have to
By
send me-
post
by
link in the
Robert
Discord.
Lanza. Yep, I will.
Okay.
By Robert Lanza. He was one of the key geneticists on the Dolly the Sheep program,
Okay.
but he changed to theoretical physics, having no background in physics whatsoever, and actually blew some physicists' minds
Mhm.
with his theories. But yeah, it'll really make you think.
Yep. I just find it
'Cause it's
fascinating.
a lot of the stuff that he talked. I mean, this book. I remember reading it like way back in 2009, 2010. I think I was just ready to come over here when I was reading it, and since then there's a lot of stuff that's actually came to light or starting to come to light in the science world now. Like the whole what I was mentioning, the holographic universe. He mentions that. Random number generators.
Mm-hmm.
How a large group of people can influence it and make it produce more ones and zeros.
Yep.
Or whatever. You know, it can.
Yeah, I've heard about
change-
that.
Can actually create a pattern in a random number generator if all the people think about the same thing or have the same emotional way of thinking as well. And since then, a lot of the CIA documents, we talked about this last week about the Project Stargate. Remote viewer number 1, Joe McMonagle. He actually talked about that experiment, about a group of people getting together and influencing the random number generator, and proved it possible. So there's some sort of consciousness field that's created by a whole group of people,
Oh yeah.
and it's actually been proven by data, scientific data, but they just can't figure out how the fuck is that possible. It does not make sense.
It does not make sense. Yeah.
It's mind blowing how little of human mind we actually do use.
Oh, totally.
Shocking how little we actually use.
Especially, I mean, if you do go and read about Project Stargate, if you've never heard about it, folks, because it literally will blow your mind. The kind of stuff that they're talking about that is possible and proven to be possible.
I know it's like you saying about the with the paranormal world, G. I was watching, was it one episode of Hollywood Medium and another episode of Long Island Medium, and
Right.
both of the mediums there got hooked up to like a brain scanner type of thing that does the electrodes.
Yep. Electroencephalograph.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you would have thought that when these mediums are doing their readings, their brain goes into like a trance.
Yep.
Yeah, so the brain wave should lessen. Nah. Both of them, the brain waves actually increase.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fucking. It is nuts the amount of stuff that seemingly these guys all knew about was already real. And people have been talking about, you know, openly and getting ridiculed for thinking that way. And then finding out that these guys were genuinely researching it like decades ago.
Yeah.
And making these people out to be absolute loonies. Some of which have actually lost their freaking families, their jobs, you know, their whole fucking lives. So, I mean, some of them have taken their own lives, sadly, because of it. Because they were made out to be absolute loonies, and yet it's came to light that, oh yeah, oh, we forgot to tell you, we were actually investigating this years ago, decades ago, and yeah, it's actually real. Sorry.
Yeah, no, the doctor that was actually conducting the experiment with these two mediums, it was it was actually the same doctor that did both of them at different times. He actually said that it's as though their brain is being used as a radio.
Yeah, I've heard that getting mentioned before, because they've discovered that the brain actually contains very, very small crystalline structures. And they reckon it does behave very much, you know, it has a potential, that kind of system in the body has the potential to behave like an antenna.
Yeah.
They just don't know what for. But, you know, with everything that's coming to light now, yeah, it could be possible that that's what it's there for.
Weird.
There's so much. Well,
we're capable of so much more.
Oh God, yeah.
What we've been,
People are so
what
much
we've been
more
led
than
to
what we do
believe.
now.
Yeah.
But it ain't going to be explained in our lifetime.
I don't know. I mean, if you were to say to me, like, the kid me, in your lifetime, you'll get to see it being acknowledged and talked about without getting laughed at, that there's technology that isn't human, it's non-human intelligences that are creating this shit, and it's coming here, or may have already been here before us, and that's getting talked about openly without ridicule on media, I would have laughed at you. I would have ridiculed you for telling me that, you know, but it's since 2018, you know, it's been getting openly talked about. There's congressional hearings practically every week in the subject now. In America, we've opened the files. We're completely an open book now, apparently, as are Germany. France didn't bother.
They're too busy eating cheese and drinking wine. We cannot be bothered by that.
We don't know nothing about them UFO silly things.
We already surrendered.
The only silver discs we have are our dinner plates. Yeah. But no, it's getting talked about openly now, and it's a good thing.
Well, you know what it is? It's partially due to the fact that we are living in a technological society where it's almost impossible to hide stuff anymore. You know, with satellite technology and camera technology and all this stuff that we have at our disposal. I think
I'm sure is going to agree here. But we think that. But one thing I know is you mentioned the paranormal, and you just hear the theme tune for the X-Files.
Yep.
There's a reason for that, though. It's because they did actually point out a lot of the flaws in government attitudes towards certain subjects.
Yep.
The one thing they all said in that show was, no smoke without fire, for one. But when it comes to the military, any technology that we have readily available for us at a commercial level has already been used for at least 15 years by our militaries. Before that, it was also being researched and developed and back engineered for at least 15 years. So you're talking about at the very least, a 30-year gap between what technology we have for us and what our militaries have. So when it comes to security and intelligence gathering, who knows what the fuck they've got, but it's way beyond what we've got.
Oh, well,
guarantee you that.
One of Dire
Guaranteed.
Things' favorite kind of inside jokes with us, I guess, is how soon military technology becomes a child's toy.
Yeah.
And I was explaining how for Christmas, my roommates got one of their kids a little robot. And the robot is basically like an Alexa built into an animatronic sort of creature. And it can talk to you. It has like some level of like AI. And it basically is always connected to the internet. So you can ask it questions and it'll respond. And it plays music and does all this other stuff. And it's like that at one point was military tech, Yeah. And now it's passed down to us.
You give that to a kid 30 years ago and they would have fucking ran screaming.
Yeah, it would have freaked them out. I mean, shit, Teddy Ruxpin was terrifying back in my day.
Yeah. Can you imagine giving somebody a Roomba back in the 50s?
Oh my God, they'd shoot it. They'd be like, kill it with fire.
They'd been bringing back, yeah, exactly. I was just going to say they'd have brought back burning people at the stake.
Like, who invented this monster? It would be like Terminator, but Roomba. Oh my God, someone needs to make that mashup.
Actually, that's already been done. There's an episode of, I think it was either Love and Robots or Black Mirror.
Oh, nice.
I think it was Love and Robots, actually, though. Love and Robots on Netflix. And I think it's one of the very first episodes. It's about basically Roombas. But they get sick of being, the house slaves. So they just turn masters. Start hoovering up body parts and shit.
Bum, bum, bum. Just like the killer Roomba, dude. Just like you see a top-down shot where they're sleeping in the bed, and just the Roomba coming up over the side of the bed and just goes over them. He's like, "What the hell? Oh my God!" Ah! And you just see blood splatter.
There's
everywhere.
one shot where you get it's almost Terminator-esque. Like when you get the view of like behind the red eye.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but it's like all floor level, and it's just like a Roomba going for a guy's foot.
It's amazing.
But because it's animated, it's got that heavy tongue-in-cheek vibe and very comedy kind of approach.
Well, I love it. But that's where we're at in this world. Technology is speeding up so fast, but I mean, like, something that comes out in the next 5 years is gonna, like, if you gave your own younger self that same thing, it would freak you the hell out. Because, like, when my first computer, like actual PC home computer, I think was either a 286 or a 386, and it's like what I have in any one of my computers is like 1,000+ times faster than that, like easily. Actually, if it's a 286, that's like a quarter of 1 gigahertz, basically. So my fastest computer is like a gigahertz processor. So it is ridiculously faster. Just in processing power, not to mention like all the other stuff that comes with that processing power.
My first ever PC.
One of the famous. Sorry.
Sorry, go on, Jim.
I was just going to say just what you're saying there, Nick. Arthur C. Clarke talked about it in 1962 when he was developing his laws, his famous laws. One of the third laws of Arthur C. Clarke is any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, because if you sent it back a couple hundred years ago, the technology that we have now, anything, a hairdryer, people would be like, magic, you know?
It wouldn't work.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Michael,
home computers
but, you know,
and a mobile phone.
Sure.
Like terabytes on a micro SD card now.
Mm-hmm.
And a terabyte would fucking dominate like a living room at one point in history.
A terabyte, yeah, if not more. Yeah. There used to be warehouses for computers that are infinitely slower than any one of ours right now. Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
What was it? The computers that sent the Apollo missions to the moon. No more powerful than a pocket calculator. Late 70s, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
You're only talking the space of 12 years between that, and they somehow managed to, like you said, got a whole fucking room to a warehouse full of computers that size and shrunk it down into a pocket-sized device.
Which can either
just in that short length of time.
Which can either drive suspicion, in that people go, "How the fuck did we get to the moon with something so fragile and basic?" You know.
Yeah,
and
it's absolutely possible, because that is just math at the end of the day.
But the people that believe, you know, that we made it to the moon, etc., blah blah blah, will be like, well, that's just obviously it's just a marvel in technology that humans are able to do such crazy things with so little, you know. But I mean, think about technology way back in the Middle Ages or whatever, where it's like the simplest machines can do so much, you know, like pulleys and things like that, where you're making a job easier with a simple machine. You know, like think of like weapons, catapults and trebuchets, and it's like that's a lot of physics going into that. And you had to have some pretty smart people back in those days to figure out the ratio, where the pivot point needs to be and the weight needs to be, and everything like that, and how much it can actually lift. And I mean, it's fascinating what human beings can do.
And just to tie into that, Hannibal was the first to develop biological warfare using trebuchets and whatnot, or catapults. He had so many dead bodies, like, that he just decided,
chuck them,
load up the catapults with the dead bodies and fire it into them.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever it was. It was the other way around. He was on the receiving end. I can't remember, but basically that war that he was involved in, that was the development of biological warfare.
Yep.
Basically caused plague.
Yep. It's crazy. There's a famous photo of 6 guys loading an IBM server, loading an IBM server hard drive into a plane with a forklift. It was 5 whole megabytes.
Oh my god.
Yep. Because back in the day,
and the Mega Drive, 16 meg.
You had punch
size
cards.
Comparison there.
Remember the punch card machines where you had to feed them in one by one in a very specific, perfect order in order for the computer to work. The amount of information that could fit on a a huge stack of those cards is like so trivial nowadays. It's probably a fraction of a kilobyte,
Yep.
It's
And
all
then,
just
like,
like
last
ones
week-
and zeros.
It is, because in there again, I was talking about like how physicists are realizing the whole hollow universe theme might be possible because it looks like similar elements that you find in a computer game, like pre-rendered maps and stuff, and pre-rendered items are already there. It's just we can't perceive them until we look at them. Then it loads it up, stuff like that. You're now getting that coming to light. And it's just it's fucking nuts. And then you've got like
It's mind-blowing to
they're
think
talking about like putting code in junk. They've already started doing this. They're putting digital code on junk DNA.
Yeah, we were talking about that. What was it, last week or just
It's
chilling in
last
Coffee
week,
Talk?
yeah. But
Yeah.
they're actually doing that now. They're using DNA to store information. Which is just nuts. So anybody, you're talking Johnny mnemonic stuff, but without the technology aspect, where eventually you could have couriers just carrying information in them, part of them.
It's only a matter of time before the lawnmower man happens.
That's probably been done already, dude. I guarantee you it's probably been done. You just look at graphics these days. If you can get some, I mean, you've got the first Neuralink patient
Oh dear
who's
God! Please
thriving.
no.
He's thriving, playing Super Mario,
Ooh.
even though he's quadriplegic. He's playing Mario with his family and coming in second all the time. So, but he's doing this completely hands-free. Just thinking about it, he's doing stuff. He's managing to type shit just by thinking about it.
Imagine overclocking though.
But I mean, so it's already it goes back to what I was saying earlier. If this is the shit that we're finding out about now, that's readily available, what's already been developed, researched, put into military use, dark web, fucking dark black projects and shit. I guarantee you, there's probably somebody that's had their whole fucking consciousness or being. They think it's them downloaded.
Yeah.
And neurally mapped.
Well, okay. Go back to Cyberpunk. I jest at the fact that you can overclock a Neuralink or whatever, but that's part of the plot of Cyberpunk is that you can do that to other people. Like you can take over their like Neuralink sort of thing.
Yeah.
And overclock it, and it like breaks their brain for a moment, and like they have to like back down or whatever.
Literally brain fart.
That's part of the combat in well, bit more extreme than that. Imagine basically a splitting headache and probably some hemorrhaging, but yeah.
Basically shock conversion therapy.
But being able to be hacked remotely by another person using their Neuralink kind of software, and everything can be upgraded and all that based on little chips that you just implant in you.
It's nuts though.
It's creepy.
But I mean, have you seen how this was done?
What's
involved in the process? Yeah.
No, I haven't. Oh, I'll be honest.
Steven, the show's done.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out.
I'm going to show you that shit.
Creepy. It's creepy.
It's beyond what you think it is. It's beyond. Like I guarantee you. Picture when you think about somebody getting that done, you immediately think, okay, they've got the top of the skull cut off. A big injector that goes in. It's even more complex than that.
Oh God.
Even more complex. You're talking nanofibers.
Oh God.
Yeah, there's nanofibers involved, and there's this big fucking machine that does it all. It's not humans don't even do the process.
I don't
It's
think we
all
could.
done by machine.
Yeah, we couldn't. Their hands are too
But
shaky,
that's the
even the steadiest of
scary
hands.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when
Imagine
you see
the
it, when you
machine
see
fucking
that
up.
what's involved in it, it's like I think there's something like 20, at least 26. Don't quote me on that, but I'm really paraphrasing. But at least 26 nanofibers that go into specific parts of where this chip's going.
But imagine, like,
Well,
you know, the Matrix, how they have the plugs on the back of their heads, right? Like,
Mhm.
those things. Similar situation to Cyberpunk, because in Cyberpunk you have like a slot on right behind your ear where you could just load chips into, and you also
Yeah.
have a tendril thing that comes out from your wrist that plugs into other stuff, so
That's
you
right.
can interface with machines and stuff.
Kind of
plug
like the
into
guy
you.
in Dark Angel.
Oh dear God, yeah, sort of,
come in peace.
sort of, but
all I can say is
You go in pieces, asshole.
if they develop a way to hack pain receptors, I'll be a candidate for it.
Already been done.
Yeah,
Okay.
Already
sort
been
of,
done.
sort of, yeah, sort of.
To a degree, it's all they've already. I mean, you can get. There's a device that you can get. It gets placed in the base of your spine, and it actually fires electrical impulses to numb the
Okay.
pain.
Mike's getting
Basically,
metal legs. Oh wait,
basically does away with it. Doesn't do away with it, but it's what TENS machines.
yeah, it's like a built-in version of that.
Okay.
A built-in, more concentrated version of that, and it actually targets specific
Nerves.
receptors and nerves. Yep.
Okay.
So they're already doing that kind of shit.
It's similar to like
The Neuralink.
it's almost like
Neuralink's proven that it's possible to actually control people's movements as well, remotely.
that's wild and creepy at the same time. But like,
I mean, if the person themselves can do it, anybody can do it remotely,
yeah,
as long as that's got a receiver built into it.
Dyer said it doesn't yet have an acceptable success rate, which, you know,
Not yet,
understandable.
but it's already shown promising results. This dude,
Considering-
anyway, that I watched. So,
I was going to say, I don't really need something that's going to give me more electric shocks than what my body produces anyway.
Well, see, that's the thing
no,
about
it
nerves.
does what the TENS machine does.
Thing about
You won't
nerves
perceive it
is
as a shock.
our nerves are essentially just electrical shocks, and like our nervous system is just a series of electrical shocks. That's what makes our arms
Basically
move.
circuits.
That's what makes everything
Yeah.
fire in our body.
Circuit pathways.
Right.
Yeah, circuit pathways.
And like, you
That
know,
one fires, creates a pathway to there.
they've done experimentation in the past with, you know, basically dead tissue, giving it electrical voltage, and it moves. We're basically just a battery and a series of wires of circuits. That's what we are. That's what we're made up of. That's our whole body. And it is theoretically possible to recreate that by man or machine, you know?
Yeah, I
That
mean,
is
if
literally what happened to
they're
Ares
still
JJ,
trying-
Mike.
They're literally not toying. They're trying to solve the riddle whether consciousness is the driving force, you know, like the actual power source, or whether it's a result of
Well, it's like
all of the processes, all of the bodily processes, biological processes, consciousness like a byproduct of that.
but it's like
Was
certain
consciousness there first? It's the chicken and the egg thing, you know, like
right.
was consciousness there first and we're just a vehicle?
Certain things in our body are on autopilot, you know, like our breathing and our circulatory system and stuff like that is basically just automatic to us. And I feel like we are trying to replicate that with machines, but it's very difficult because it's very complex, obviously. And there's so many neurons in our brain that have to fire signals simultaneously, and just all these different parts moving at the same time. We're a very, very complex machine at the end of the day.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh yeah,
it's
biological
wild.
machine.
But
So yeah.
whenever there's a machine, there could be things made for it. You know, we're already seeing a lot of we've seen a shitload of progress with prosthetics, being able to tie them in to our nerves and stuff, and eventually we will have like cybernetic appendages.
I'll say Aries JJ. He's the bloke that did actually have one of them.
That's what Dyer's saying. The probe shifted and it shocked the crap out of him.
Oh.
He had one of those things.
No. He's to EB a coil, or he used to be a coil builder.
Yeah.
Had one of those nerve stim devices. The probe shifted and it shocked the crap out of him. Oh. Yeah, that wouldn't be fun.
Nope.
Just think, it's everything sounds very similar to like a nerve condition like fibromyalgia. Because fibromyalgia is basically just
from using a resistance joke.
What?
Ohm's law.
Resistance. Oh,
Ohm's law.
Come on.
He didn't know his Ohm's law.
Oh. But since
What the hell?
fibro deals with nerves, it's like a nerve condition where your brain misfires. It's sending the wrong signals and probably the incorrect voltage to
Allergic reactions. That's a similar idea. It's the body's response to certain things, and it's just misfiring,
Yep.
misreading,
Well, I know
misreading
for
the things.
I know for a fact that my brain misfires.
I feel like all of ours do at some points where it's just like get it.
I get the sensation of electric shocks going through me all the time.
I get it in my legs,
And yeah,
especially my feet.
it goes through my legs, which causes, if I'm sitting down, it'll cause me to kick my leg out.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm laying in my bed, it'll cause me to kick the wall. Every now and then, it'll make my arms flash out, or it'll make me lash out with my head.
Yeah.
And I have had it at night time where I'm laying in bed, sound asleep, and I've just headbutted the wall.
Jesus.
That sounds like what I've got, which is the periodic limb movement disorder.
I don't know what it is, but to start with,
It's all right. It's all right, Mike. Neither do the doctors or the neurologists. They don't know what causes it. Honestly, they don't know what causes it.
It's a
They still
misfire.
don't know what causes restless leg.
Right.
They still don't know.
It's misfire signals in the brain.
when I'm awake and it happens, the only way I can describe it is it feels like a ball of energy builds up in the base of my spine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it will just release and it's like an explosion going off.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what it is. It gives you a fucking hell of a fright as well, because especially, I mean, because sometimes you'll know as well, Mike, you don't get the warning sign, you don't feel the build up. It just fucking happens out of nowhere.
I wonder if
and you
it's
get
like
the fright of your fucking life.
I wonder if it's at all connected to that feeling you get like you're falling. You ever get that when you're laying in bed?
Well, the
The feeling
periodic
you're
limb
falling is
movement
actually
disorder,
your
they do.
heart missing a beat.
Oh.
Well, there's a few things apparently, because the periodic, yeah, exactly what Dyer things just mentioned there.
SSR.
SSRIs. Basically, you're going to sleep. Your body sends out dopamine and all the melatonin or whatever, melatonin, sorry, tells your body time to shut down so that you can go through the defrag, which is dreaming. But while you're doing that, as far as your brain's concerned, it's actually doing these things, but we want to make sure that the body's not enacting it out. So release all the dopamine, melatonin, and it shuts the body down. What happens is, if you've got periodic limb movement or anything like that, your body's not producing enough dopamine or the melatonin, whatever. So you need something called it's basically called dopamine agonists,
Mm-hmm.
which are used in the treatment of like Parkinson's and some seizure
Yeah.
related illnesses, and that's SSRIs are used as part of the treatment sometimes, which sounds a bit counterintuitive, but sometimes like antidepressants, the key is to kind of make you go to one extreme or the other. So they'll either use something that decreases that chemical or increases it
Mm-hmm.
and makes it
at
go
the moment,
overboard.
I'm taking.
It'll send it overboard so that the brain's own system kicks in and goes, I need to cut back on that now.
Right.
But yeah,
Well,
that's what basically causes the periodic limb movement. So it's
at the moment, I'm taking 3 different doses of let me work this out. Technically, I'm taking 3 different antidepressants in 4 different doses.
Good lord.
yeah, antipsychotic as well, I'm assuming.
Nope.
No. Okay, well, the doctor. I mean, this is the thing, right? I've just said there. That's what the cause of that is, and it's usually the cause of the restless legs as well. When you're awake, it's because dopamine's produced all throughout the day and night. You know, it's always supposed to be getting produced to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're sitting bolt upright, like I usually get restless leg when I'm lying down. Sometimes if I'm sitting here like this, bolt upright, I'll get it. And it's just like my body's telling me I should be relaxing.
Right, okay.
But then everything else is going, no, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. So 2 different systems are fighting against each other. But they still don't know what the root cause is. They just know how it happens. They know the process and what leads to it. They just don't know how, why it happens and how to, properly get rid of it. Because I mean, I'm on Parkinson's meds for mine.
Wow.
Doesn't always work. Sometimes I'm still fucking bouncing a bit. And I'll wake up maybe with a duff toe or whatever, you know.
I've had
kicking the footboard.
I've had it twice where it literally feels like an explosion is going off in my brain.
Jesus, Mike, what's up with all your body explosions?
At least it ain't anal.
Well,
yeah,
sometimes it
you
is.
don't want that. Trust me, don't want that. You really don't.
No.
That is just hell, especially when it's coming at the other end at the same time.
Oh God!
What those 2 times that it felt like an explosion in my brain, that fucking hurt.
Yeah, that sounds more seizure related, Mike.
Right.
Huh.
If
This is not medical
happens,
advice. I want to point this out.
yeah,
it's not.
It's not. This is just experiential. This is what we've experienced. But if that happens again, I would get that checked out because that's not right.
Thanks, G. Now I have a new medical fear: restless sphincter.
Welcome to my world, dire thing.
Oh man.
Bladders, bowel, limbs. They're all doing their own thing.
My bladder for sure. As evidence.
Oh, dude, yours took a fucking vacation and just went.
I don't think I have one.
Water. That's what
Just
I mean.
goes straight
yours
through
fucked
me.
off.
Well,
Yeah.
what the hell? I don't know. You break the seal, and I'm not gonna hurt my kidneys by holding it in. Sorry, I gotta pee. Jeez, I can pee right now. I can hold it until the end of the show. Okay.
Yeah, you went a whole 59 minutes last night.
It
would have been longer had I not triggered the alert.
Oh.
But you did mention that you were desperate.
There's
So
a difference
I triggered the alert.
between mentioning and actually going.
Oh no,
Only
you were just
counts.
being defiant. You were being defiant because we mentioned it. drew attention to the fact that you were desperate for a pee, so you were like, "Nope, I'm not going to pee."
No,
Nope.
well, there was one point where I was very, very glad the game ended just in time. So I had to fucking jump out of my chair for that one.
Oh, a little bit popped out.
No, I'm not at diaper level yet. Jeez.
Is it Sunday night party night again, Nick?
Yeah, well, not yet, but maybe. Let's hope not. Knock on wood.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I know. Well, what can you do other than soundproofing the door? Which might be an idea, but then you got the walls are not thin, but hollow. Sigh. Well, hopefully soon it'll be warm enough for them to go outside.
Yeah.
Go enjoy the outdoors. You got a fire pit and a patio. Go. It's beautiful
Oh,
out
look,
there.
it's more daylight hours. Kids, you can go the fuck out too.
Light wind would cause these kids to not want to go outside, I swear. I want to play with my iPad. Yeah. But going back to technological advances and the future of the human body, I am convinced that, you know, with the way technology is progressing and how fast it goes, Neuralink is becoming more and more of a thing, and people are obviously against it because you don't want hackers and all that stuff hacking your brain and all that. But, like, the technology will eventually, because, like, let's put it this way. We have all accepted cell phones into our lives, and we know for a fact that they spy on us without our consent. But we still all have them.
Well, I think another one of the reasons why people are scared of that as well is like losing their individuality. But let's face it, is there much individuality on social media?
Nope.
No, that's why I hate social media.
You know, all you see is people following the flock.
It's all fake.
Scared to voice their own opinions because they think they're going to be persecuted for having an opinion.
But even then, no matter what people post on Facebook,
so they're already part of the hive.
But it's all fake. They're either following the flock or they're posting the most dramatized version of themselves. No one's ever posting their real self. You know, you never get the real
Exactly.
version of
They're
someone.
scared to be individual. So they're already part of the hive, so why are you scared?
But you see the pictures of the perfect families, and you see the beautiful people that post up the girls with all the makeup on and the filters and this and that, and it's like, it's not the real you. You meet someone in person, you're like, oh my god, you look completely different than you do online.
Oh yeah, it's happened to me a few times.
And you don't see the perfect couple with the beautiful house and the 2.5 kids and a dog and everything, like, get into a fight. They don't shed that all over social media, and if they do, they're unhinged and something's wrong with them and they need to be sectioned. I'll be a weird individual and will pass before mediocrity. I mean, every day we get closer and closer to the conscious hive mind.
Singularity.
Yeah. Yep.
The singularity.
Imagine getting advertisements pumped into your brain.
Like Minority Report, that's pretty much what that was.
Yeah.
Where you look in a certain direction and the advert's already, it's tailored to you.
This was once
The only way you'd be able to do that is if
fiction.
you had some sort of implant.
But I mean, think about it. If cell phones are this common within, couple decades, then it's going to happen faster for the brain implants once they perfect the technology.
It's probably already happening because you've got the Apple Vision.
I was going to say, you know what? You know what's going to happen?
So
Apple's going to release it, and everybody's going to jump on board. Ooh, I want the iBrain.
Advertisers are probably already fucking pumping users full of fucking adverts.
Well, with AI? With the
Through
advancements?
Apple Vision. But you think about that on a bigger level. if there's companies that have developed a contact lens that does the same thing as the Apple Vision, where it's an augmented reality. So that's an invasive technology. It's more technically in the body, and you've got Neuralink taking it even further.
But imagine, like, you know, that, like, how sometimes advertisers will flash a word on the screen really fast.
Or subliminal. So technically they're not supposed to do that, but
Technically, but they kind of do here
it's
and there.
like, what is it? It's one frame out of however many frames per second. They're not allowed to go beyond a certain range of frames or something like that, or more than a certain range of frames.
How
But
much you wanna
companies
bet?
still do it.
Yeah.
Companies still do it.
Even a flash of a word on a screen, even if it's a few frames or whatever, sometimes they will do that. But imagine just walking down the street with your augmented reality goggles on, and all of a sudden, buy or something, like spend, conform.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Oh,
like
they live.
they live.
They live. Genius movie. Philip K. Dick again.
That's right.
The guy was a visionary. Man.
Very
He
1984.
He took George Orwell and just went, "You think that's scary?"
Yeah, yeah. But again, this was once science fiction, and is slowly moving into reality. Is it the point of science fiction, though, or is that a byproduct?
It is to a degree. It's like it's a cautionary tale, but at the same time, it's kind of establishing ground rules as well.
Oh, because
Like Isaac Asimov. There's this science fiction. He wasn't a scientist. I think he studied. Maybe got a degree or some sort, you know, in the science field. But at the end of the day, he was a science fiction writer. His laws are now used as the laws for robotics. Any future AI will have these laws programmed into it because they were so. It was genius. It was genius, and it was like, okay, this would actually work. If AI was a real thing, this would fucking work.
it just
Or
kind
would it?
of it just feels surreal. It's like science fiction. Like there's a lot of elements of our current reality in a lot of science fiction art and everything else. Like, you know, we were talking about Deckard there.
Yeah. Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
The Android Dream of Electric Sheep.
It's a film noir, you know,
Philip
which
K.
is,
Dick. Again.
It's a film noir, kind of like retro future-y kind of thing, where we do progress in technology, but a lot of things stay behind. There's a lot of remnants of our old society, and like we still have the same problems. It's just that they're more modern, and it's just life in general. That's kind of life in general, right there, summed up, is like it's still the same, but it's just different. You know, we don't have the same problems that we did 500 years ago, where, you know, people struggled with the concept of being and all that. It's like, who are we? Where do we come from? All that. Now it's struggling against our own technology that we created, you know?
Yeah. Even, I mean, look at, it's a comedy as well, right? Red Dwarf, I think, was the first, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was the first TV show, at least, whether it was the first in the science fiction genre to come up with this, hard light. You know, like Rimmer, the hologram. He was just a hologram. He was just a light projection for like so many series, and then all of a sudden, future technology, and all of a sudden he now has a solid mass to him. You know, it's hard light. The photons have mass, and that's shit that's actually getting talked about now. Is photons that have mass. I mean, at the end of the day, like all of our molecules and how we perceive looking at someone The only way we know that they're there, other than we can feel the field, the electromagnetic field, which creates a boundary that we feel and perceive as that's a hard object.
Mhm.
So, or static field, whatever you want to call it. Photons is how we perceive visually. So if we didn't have light, you wouldn't know the person's there.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole idea of hard light is like the photons have mass as well and can create a field of its own and be a almost like a living thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting talked about now. Red Dwarf. Fucking hell.
Well,
And even they come up with a theory. Well, if it was them, but I mean, even they touched on it as well. And that's something that's getting talked about in science today.
but think about it though.
It's
If you throw
generating
enough
stuff.
crazy shit at the wall, eventually something's gonna stick.
Something's going to stick, yeah. The guy that created the first fucking mobile phone was inspired by the communicator from Star Trek. The original Captain Kirk model.
When are we gonna get the
Flip
3
phone.
shells? I want to know.
He was the guy that created the flip phone,
Yeah.
and he developed it all
Clamshell.
through because all from that fucking, all from Captain Kirk's communicator.
Wild. What phasers? Well, yeah. We kind of had phasers, sort of.
Military's got them.
Yeah.
Military's got them. They're shooting down drones and shit.
Oh yeah. Well, I saw an article. My buddy Sam showed me an article on the UK's space weapon, which can literally shoot down. I don't know if it's a laser or whatnot, but it's a beam that can take out drones.
Yep. Do you want to know the scary thing?
Mhm.
Papers that were seized from Tesla's hotel room in New York when he died contained a prototype, a blueprint for such a weapon.
Oh, that's
He
crazy.
died in what? He died in what, the 40s, 50s?
Yeah.
And he had a prototype drawn up and he said, this will work. And it gets seized.
Yeah, I think he's an alien. I don't know.
Oh no, he was just
A mad
he wasn't
genius.
afraid to think beyond science. Like
Yeah.
he was. He came up with the whole idea of all humans are basically the same consciousness. All consciousness is just one thing. We are just individual elements that make up that one thing. Same thing as like you can hear yourself answering your own questions sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just another element of the same consciousness answering back. Star Trek Voyager touched on it actually with the whole Q continuum. You get a view into Q's realm, and there's like one guy. It just looks like a scarecrow, and it is an inanimate scarecrow. And one of the characters says, "What's that?" "Oh, that's Q. Oh, it's his turn to be the scarecrow today." It's just our turn to be. It's my turn to be G today. This time, it's my turn to be G this time round. It's your turn to be Nick. It's your turn to be Mike. This time round. Next time round, might be somebody else.
That's
Yeah.
creepy. Ugh.
And he came up with that, and it's called the Akashic Record. It's basically just the whole. It's one whole consciousness field, and we all draw from it.
I
And
wonder
it
if that's
kinda-
why we have like
it's-
good days and bad days, you know?
Well, there's been people that use that theory to come up with that's how you have race memory, where you can have certain skills that are almost inherent to certain species, like chimpanzees are now showing tool using skills that they shouldn't have. They didn't learn it from us because these are isolated groups. They didn't learn it from other groups because they're that isolated. Somehow they have those skills. Where did they learn it from? Must have been there already. No. It was just encoded into them somehow, How do some animals know how to walk instantly from as soon as they're popped out,
Yep. That's wild to me. Like within minutes, like a baby deer will just be up and walking around like nothing.
Yep. How do ants
Awkwardly,
know
but,
that?
yeah.
Oh, he can't hear me. I'll just release this chemical. He knows what I'm saying now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's-
Oh.
how do species know how to do these things, like from birth?
I think it would be interesting to do what they call a past life regression.
I think Dire Thing's got a point. He said, "Not wild. We are the exception in that regard, as far as that, because like
We've lost a lot.
well, think about
We've
it.
lost a lot of skills.
We only use 10% of our brains. Maybe the other creatures
That's a
use.
figure that's always been thrown around, yeah, but
I don't know.
they're now thinking it could be more.
Still though,
Not a
we
hell
don't
of a
use
lot more, but
100%.
it is. Yeah, no, definitely not.
But
No.
imagine what if, as humans, we could use more? Would we be more like ants or like whatever? Like, if we use more of our brains, or if our brains were more developed when we were born, would we be able to just get up and walk the second we're born? Would we be able to just know our role in society? Trade-off in being
That's true, Dan.
bipedal and having honking
Yeah.
skulls is that we are born like 10 months before we are finished. Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it.
We're born incomplete. Yeah.
We're born with our skulls still so soft you could push it.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's like, although we're only using a certain percentage of the brain, I don't know if you've seen it. There's guys that have made it's been nicknamed the God Helmet, and it's basically like like you were talking about the electroencephalograph, Mike, where it's like all the electrodes. Used to be it was like just a fabric mesh, and
Yep.
then all the electrodes would go through holes.
Hmm.
Like guys basically made like pretty much like a helmet version, and it's even been refined to things that look like Professor Xavier's cerebral helmet, stuff like that. No joke, but it is just a series of electrodes
Yep.
in a helmet housing, and but what it does is it activates and stimulates a hell of a larger area of the brain than what would normally be switched on at one time.
Cool.
Can create like visions and shit, and allows people to be more arty, or use more of the lizard brain or more of the empathic brain stuff. It's weird, some of the shit. It's worth doing a deep dive into that if you've never heard of it.
Now look into that.
Dyer said even natural selection knew there were reasonable limits to the size of that ass.
We're all slaves to that, though.
Thunder? Oh my god. All right, I'm hearing shit
No, that
now.
was just my stomach.
I know. I'm getting pretty freaking hungry too.
Oh no, I'm not hungry. I've
You got a crap on deck.
I've got a crap on deck. It would choke a donkey.
See, it's an electrical impulse, G. It's an electrical impulse
Yep.
telling you that, and your brain goes, "Okay."
I've got to listen. Otherwise, things could get messy.
All right. On that note, I think we're gonna shut her
On
down.
that brown note.
God damn it. All right. Let's see. Do I have I don't think I have a sub raid yet. We'll make one for anyone
about a
that's got
dom
the
raid?
emotes. Let's do a custom raid one here. What should we do? Sign off before G soils the stream. It's already been soiled. Come on, let's face it.
That's all right. Yeah, I've got my depends on. It's all right.
I don't know. I don't know what to put for a raid message.
Well, all I can say
Anyway,
is if Apple do come out with the iBrain, I'll wait for the Samsung version because it's guaranteed to be 3 generations ahead.
Right, exactly. Better technology,
What's-
more user friendly.
I don't want to be locked out of my own brain because I don't remember the pin. or because Apple decided to randomly change it without telling me.
Mm.
You know,
Having to
or
tune
the
in, having to
or
plug
the whole
yourself
use
into
of
the
your own
internet,
brain.
do a firmware update.
Yeah. Or they hold certain parts of your brain back behind a paywall.
Oh yeah, that's
You know, or
DLC. That's DLC.
we're not giving you the opportunity to learn how to drive this car because you didn't pay us X amount of dollars.
You're not kidding there, Dyer. Apple are fucking wankers for that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, next time I go to the GP, I'll have a word with them about that electric shock shit.
You're like, hey, let me get that implant. All right. There we go. So we have our custom raid message and our regular raid message. Copy and paste the appropriate one for you if you have the emotes or not. Either way, we're going to go raid Josh. Josh is doing a nice little cozy stream. Ooh,
Painting, was he painting miniatures?
He's doing minis, and he's going to do some Lego, it looks like. That sounds fun. So I want in on that. Give me all of that. I need the cozy Sunday vibes. After this conversation, good Lord. Kind of went all over the place. But hey, great show today. Loved it. I hope you guys had fun. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Right, after tonight's conversation, I'm going to be hitting the Dynavac pretty soon.
Right. Well, it'll be perfectly...
I'm gonna turn my brain off.
Yeah. It's time to turn the brain off and watch Josh build some tiny food.
Oh no, I need to show you those things first before you lose control of your brain.
Good point.
Yeah. But on that note, thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week with the same old shit. And
Hopefully not in my pants.
hopefully not in G's pants.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not fun having Maltinas in the undercrackers.
Okay.
No. Left a little rosebud in there for you.
Oh my god. Oh. But yeah, go show Josh some love. Drop a follow if you're not following already. Really great guy.
Drop a Malteser.
Don't do that. Not in the pants or otherwise. But yeah, hopefully I'll have more done on the overlay by next weekend. I don't know if it's going to be done or not, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how far we get. I'll be posting in the ideas and feedback channel if I have any significant things to share with you guys. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ta.
Shit nuggets.
Oh, my God.
Nuggets.
All right. All right.
Yep.
Bye.
You can't decide, so I'll be your guide.